And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another stadium review. Today, we are reviewing Compton Family Ice Arena, located in South Bend, Indiana. This is the home of Notre Dame hockey. This was stop number 3 for us on our Indiana campus tour that I did with Ann Pomeroy. This was the first of 2 hockey games on the trip, where we saw Notre Dame lose to Western 4-0. But that was really for Ann Pomeroy. Ann Pomeroy, being a big Western fan, was intent for the game. But I mostly was just here to see the arena. My second ever college hockey arena, second in the Big Ten as well. So I was very, very excited to see how it stacked up against my home Mun. I got a lot of thoughts. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? And we kicked this off the same way that I kicked off the Assembly Hall review, with, again, you have people staffed for the parking when the parking is free. What? Like, we even left and came back right before puck drop, or right before doors opened, and there was still nobody charging. Now, granted, they were directing traffic. It was a bit busier than the Indiana game was. So there's that. Okay, they at least were doing something other than just standing around doing nothing. But I think people could have found their way without all. There were a lot of people trying to direct a relatively small amount of cars and people. So I felt like maybe it was a bit overkill. I think people could have figured it out on their own. So I don't know. That was just another questionable choice for me. But hey, Notre Dame, Indiana, in the same in that regard. 6-7. This arena, I did not expect it to have 2 decks. Has an upper deck. A college hockey arena with an upper deck. Not a very common sight, I'll tell you that much. At least for like regular home sites, not like they go play in a pro arena for the tournament or an invitation or whatnot. There's also a freaking restaurant in the upper deck, which is awesome. Very weird choice, but an awesome choice at that. They also have a really, really nice team store inside the arena. It's got a great selection of stuff. No pins. We did have to go to the bookstore to get a pin. But they do have a lot of other stuff for, a college, for being in the arena. I thought it was really, really nice. And there's a lot of other like Irish theming around the arena. It's a very well kept arena. Again, just like Assembly Hall. A lot of Irish theming. The concession stands have special Irish themed names to them. It's all very painted, very Irish blue. A lot of Irish, clovers all around the place, which is really, really nice. So I got to give them credit there. They do some nice little theming. Keep it very clean, very open concourses. I will give it that. Despite being a pretty crowded game, like there was a lot of people there. It wasn't like we just had free roam of wherever we wanted to go. But for the volume of people there, I thought it was pretty well done as far as the concourse goes. Plus, again, they do a lot of staffing on ushers as well, on the seats so that people know where they're going. And these ushers, they loved to talk. Love to talk. A little too much, I'd say. It was a little creepy. Because they liked to talk to me and Ann, because Ann was wearing Western gear and I was wearing my MSU jacket, and it was Notre Dame versus Western. So obviously everybody knew that Ann was rooting for Western, but they were questioning me. They like to talk to me specifically. And I don't really know how to feel about that, even a few days after the fact. The one guy in particular, I want to tell this story. There's a guy that I was by myself at this point, and I was in the bathroom. And so I was walking around trying to film some of the cool stuff on the walls, their cool like history stuff on the walls for the vlog, which they had some nice stuff you can see in the vlog. And this usher comes up from behind me and he grabs me on the shoulders. And I'm like, "Hello? Do you recognize me from YouTube?" I turn around and he's like, you know MSU's not playing tonight, right? I'm like, yeah? And he's like, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to get like 5 or 6 minutes into the game and you don't know where you're at. And you get confused. I'm like, buddy, I know what game I paid for. What the fuck? Like, I'm sure that somebody has been confused about what ticket they bought for a sporting event. Hell, my grandparents were when they bought tickets for a Tigers game in Chicago, thinking it was in Detroit. But it's a weird thing to grab me on the shoulders by to ask, you know? I feel like if I am confused about the teams playing, I would ask somebody about that, right? I wouldn't want to be grabbed. I do not want to be grabbed on the shoulders and like taken away because I'm like they think I'm confused at what event I'm going to. It was really weird. It was a really weird interaction, especially being by myself. It was weird, and I had a lot of other people asked about my jacket too. It's like, "Oh, you guys going back up to campus tonight?" I'm like, no, we're It was kind of. I wasn't. That was the only place that did it. I've got a couple comments on it at the other arenas too, but Notre Dame specifically was very, very interested in my jacket, which was weird. But I do appreciate the ushers here because they do their job. You know, it is part of their job to, you know, be talkative to people, be helpful to people with their questions, and that's part of it. But also, there was a bunch of kids, because there was like a little youth hockey game going on at their practice arena. By the way, Notre Dame's practice facility is connected to the actual arena so that you actually can look in and see the practice facility. So there was like a youth game going on at the practice facility, and then after the game, the kids just got to come into the main game for free, I think. I don't know. And they were sitting, there was a bunch of them that crowded around where our seats were. And the usher lady just did her job. She did it flawlessly. Kicked the kids out, got the people where they needed to go. I can appreciate that because I know how sometimes ushers just don't do their jobs, and you gotta appreciate when they do their jobs. So Notre Dame staff, I appreciate you for that. Thank you. So that was awesome. I can very much appreciate that. So I can't dog on the ushers too much. They're a little creepy, a little bit creepy, just a little bit, poco creepy. But I mean, there's some really, really modern aspects to this arena as well. I already talked about the upper deck and there being a freaking restaurant up there. How about the lights on the glass? That they flash some cool colors and do some like cool sound bits and whatnot. That was really, really cool. Um, we didn't hear much of their goal horn because they got shut out. But there was, you know, a few other cool little pieces to it. And it all felt very, very well taken care of, very well themed, very modern, which I really, really liked. Do have one complaint, or another couple pieces. The seat orientation made it very crowded. We were kind of in a corner, and they don't really do. They do more rectangular style seating with like, and so where the points where the curves meet can be very crowded, and we happen to have our seats right there. So that was a little annoying, but we had room to move around, so it didn't really matter that much. Once we found out that people weren't going to be like crammed right next to us. It is box seats too, by the way. Box seats, very comfy, very, very good. Not as good as Assembly Halls, but still very, very nice. Another thing they do is that I think it was after the first period or partway into the second period, they let people with GA tickets move down into any open seat in the lower bowl. I like that, but that is a risky move. That is a very risky move, because you have to. Because I am assuming that they close the doors and people are being able to come in before, probably after the first period, right? So that's why they can get away with that. But it is a very, very thing to do is if they don't do that, if they keep the doors open, like MSU keeps their doors open until the second period is over. So if they move people down, then they gotta kick them out, But I like to think they have it figured out. I don't know for sure. I don't know their policies. I just like to think that they have it figured out. It is a smart idea, though, to help fill the seats and upgrade some people's experiences for free. And for, if you're a fan who wants to save some money, it's probably a better strategy just to buy a regular GA ticket and then find a random seat and just wait a period of standing around, I would see that as a smart idea. And there's plenty of places to stand around, too. There's not like not like the standing room area is bad or anything like that. There's some really good views. So you could even go that route if you don't see any seats open or you don't see one that you like. Just stay where you are and just have a good time. This is not a bad idea. So that's what I have to say. It's really it. Compton Family Ice Arena, very, very beautiful arena. It's hard to say if it's better than Munn definitively, because the environment wasn't the greatest because Notre Dame got shut out. But you can tell that they do love their team and they do take good care of their arena. And some very helpful and nice staff. Maybe a little too nice, but they were still nice. So it was really, really nice. I can't say if it's definitively better than Munn, but it is pretty sweet. For my final score for Compton Family Ice Arena, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was really, really nice. And I had a good time. Will I want to come back? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't... if MSU is playing there, probably. If I got a good deal on tickets. But other than that, probably not. So, that's going to do it for this review. If you visited this arena before, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video as well, so stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more stadium reviews and other awesome stuff. Got one more coming from this trip. So until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.